So one thing would be is once you learn what they call study technology, how to study properly, then you would go into that. You wouldn't just be finished learning how to study. Then there's another advanced study technology, so to speak, or an advanced course in study technology, so to speak. And then after you do that, there are other courses that you would take, life improvement courses. There would be other type. There's always something else. It never ends. I mean, if you did Scientology, in my opinion, like a 4-year college, it would probably be your BA, your BS. I'm talking about 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You can just keep going and going and going. And of course, you're paying for all this. You're paying constantly for all this, and you're paying some very, very heavy money, a lot of money to take part in these services. Whether it's the auditing side, where you're trying to clear yourself out so you could function better, or if it's the training side, so you're more knowledgeable on how to deal with life. And I'm not saying all the things were bad. A lot of stuff was very good. A lot of stuff helped me as far as the training goes. The auditing, I really never got much out of. I mean, I kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And, it's like, it's kind of like it'll come together soon, or I'll have these wins soon, or something will happen soon. If you pay more, you'll go to the next level, and then you'll get what it is that you want. If you pay more, then you get to the next level, and you'll get what you want. And it just seems like they continue to bait you and hook you to keep going up and up and up and up the bridge. But when you're going up and up and up and up the bridge, or the levels, because I went to what they call clear, and then did what's called the Sunshine Rundown, I just never got really what I was looking for. I never really got the happiness or the practice getting better. See, the practice was good, like we talked about at the beginning, but once I started doing these Scientology services and paying all this money, I dwindled the bank account. I mean, we did probably $125,000 easily in these services, and I'm dwindling the bank account, and then the pressure's on. I'm not making the money I used to make. I'm not as happy as I used to be. See, I was looking to get happier and make more money. At the same time, what occurred was that we were becoming less satisfied, really dissatisfied with life, and making less money. So what was promised never occurred. The happiness, with family and friends, and the fact that you'd be making more money when you do these services. But just to clarify something, when Scientology services and WISE services are connected and intertwined, but they're separate too, because Hubbard has a lot of management technology which goes into the WISE training sector. But then he has other technology, like I talked about, like handling drugs, study technology, and there's many different forms of the study technology that you can learn. So there's a lot of things here. So WISE specifically is the part of the Church of Scientology that uses Hubbard's technology to help you in management, to help you run your business better. And that's the part I was taking a lot of courses in, and it didn't seem to be helping at all. Now, when I was with Singer just doing the chiropractic consulting, that helped. There was no doubt about it. But then once I got into the Scientology training and the Scientology management technology, then that's when I started to see things dwindle and start going backwards instead of forward. I couldn't understand why. I mean, I kept doing the service, I kept paying for the services and doing the services and paying for the services, but it wasn't getting any better. And then it spilled over into the household too. I was not happy.
Well, and quite honestly, it is definitely not exchange in abundance. For what they charge you for and what you get in return, it isn't even close. And I would say, if I had to use a word to describe Peter at that time in his life, it would be totally frustrated. He began to gain weight. He wasn't as happy in the practice. He wasn't as pleasant to be around. He was totally frustrated, could not understand, but yet, again, they continued to, well, you need to do this now. In order to have that, you need to do that. And of course, it's all money and money and money. And I mean, we're looking at kids' college education funds, and but he believed and kept putting and putting and putting, and he wasn't getting from it what he should.
And then finally, I went to the mecca of Scientology technology, which is called FLAG. That's in Clearwater, Florida. And my first trip there was real interesting. When I got there to FLAG, you didn't really know what was going on. So I was kind of like open to whatever would occur. I really didn't know what to expect. And it was not like they talk about it as being a first-class hotel, and it was nowhere near that. I mean, they didn't even have phones in the room when I got there the first time, and it was pretty, I know they do now, but they didn't then. And when I got there the first time, one of the things they do is they have somebody who greets you. Now, I thought this was just a person who greets you, like somebody from a hotel and says, come on over, let's have some lemonade or some champagne. No, this person, what they do is this person is what's called a registrar. Her name was Dominique, and she's from France. And I remember her very clearly. She said, what course are you on? I said, I'm not here for training, I'm here for auditing. And she goes, no, you must be on a course. And I'm kind of figuring, well, maybe if you must, it's something that I should do, you know. And then she just takes me and walks me over to the course room and says, you got to start on this course, study technology course. And I didn't want to do it, but I said, well, maybe this is the way it works here, you know. It's like they sit you down and you start studying and studying and studying and you're working in this course room, but it wasn't something that I wanted in my own free will to do, but it was something I thought I needed to do to be at Flag and do the other services, the auditing services. They never made that clear. And I was very unhappy about that. I was very unhappy the way I was handled when I first went there. As a matter of fact, it was just a disaster the first time I was there. Then I go into the registrar's office with, her name is Sonia, and she's a registrar there. And, you know, basically they want to befriend you, but you can see right through it. I mean, they're not looking for your good. They're just looking for the money. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And if they find out, which I found out, that you don't have the bank account that they think you have, then you're not as important on the list anymore, I'll tell you that for sure. But you would be registered for hours. I mean, hours upon hours of different things, not just from the Flag registrar, who's the person you sit down with, and they start finding out how much money you have, what course that they recommend next. They have a design on your pocketbook, they have a design on your bank account, they have a design on your wallet. And it's not a very comfortable thing. You're sitting in this room, and it's an open room. You're sitting in this room, and it feels more like you're being grilled, and you have to be very defensive, and you have to work at keeping your money, and they're just trying to extract your money and telling you what you need. And some of them are better than others. One of the registrars, they have Paul Miller. I work with him sometimes, and he would fall asleep in the middle of, I mean, this sounds ridiculous, it sounds absurd, but he would fall asleep while he was talking to you. He'd just start snoring while he was talking to you. He has a narcolepsy disorder or something. It's not even funny, but the fact is he would fall asleep, and then he'd have a cigarette in his hand, and when the cigarette almost burnt him, that's when he'd wake up, and you'd start talking again. I mean, it was the most bizarre thing. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the most bizarre thing that you'd ever see. So there's a lot of bizarre things going on there. Now, one of the things I wanted to get when I went to Flag was I wanted to get to a point where I absolutely had control over everything in my environment. That's what I wanted. I wanted control over everything in my environment. And I felt like that would lead to my happiness. And they talked about all kinds of things. They talked about, yeah, you'll be able to go exterior, where you know you're a being out of your body, and you can control the bodies, and you control your body. I mean, okay, show me. I asked one of the registrars, is it show me? I'm going to stand behind that wall over there, and I'm going to hold up a certain amount of fingers. You go out of your body, come around the wall, and tell me how many fingers I have up. And you know what she said to me, Sonia, about that? She said, that's ridiculous. That's party games. We don't do party games here. If we wanted to, we could tell you how many fingers you have, but we won't do that because that's like a party game trick. And I said, well, you're telling me that you could do all these things and that I would have the ability to do all these things. How do I know that? Well, you're just going to have to read Hubbard's technology and understand that this could be done and understand how it can be done, and then work on that with your auditing and your training as you're here. Now, I know it sounds kind of way out, and sometimes you think, well, how would a educated person who's been through college for 8 years do any of these things? I'll tell you, the people that they really prey upon are the most educated. If you think about another thing, that the people who came, you know, the people who designed the German concentration camps and the furnaces and everything else, those were all PhDs that designed those things. So it's not just the amount of education that makes somebody want something or act weird about things. It's basically, it's a want or a desire. If you could find, and they're very good in Scientology, if you could find out a person's wants or desires, you can get them to do almost anything, well, within means. And in this case, it's basically giving money. And money obviously is not the most important thing. You know, time and happiness and those things are much more important to me than money. So if I could give somebody money to get those things that I wanted, then I was willing to do that. And I believed that I was going to get these things. But really didn't. I got the opposite. It was just amazing. And just keep baiting, just keep holding the carrot in front of you, you know, and dangling that carrot and say, well, you just need to go here. And the next level, you'll have that. And the next thing, you'll have that. And it just kept going on and on and on like that. And I really felt betrayed, absolutely betrayed.